Mark Watts, Derek Dolgner, Elitefts.com. Today we're going to talk about the incline press and a couple quick coaching cues if you have a large group of athletes. Incline press is a little harder to implement into your program. You have a lot of bench press, you have a lot of at horizontal plane, and then you also have a lot of overhead stuff with your Olympic lifts and just military stuff. Those are easier to implement. With the incline, you have a couple things that you have to address that are just a little bit different. The good thing about the incline press is you can implement that within a couple different parameters, whether it's going to be horizontal presses or vertical presses, so you can kind of put that in or whatever you need to, and it's kind of a good change up even for a deload week. So a couple things we're thinking about real quick. Again, Derek's going to go ahead and lay down. He's going to, when we set up for the bench press, same basic thing as the bench press for the incline, and that bar is going to be directly over the eyes. So again, when the athlete goes, and obviously I would normally be spotting him, but when the athlete unracks the weight, he's going to set up now over the chest. The difference is when we tell for someone for a bench press to come down basically in that xiphoid process, that just below that sternum area, below the pecs, upper ab area, it's a little bit different for the incline press. We want to come down higher just below the collarbone, depending on the athlete. The key thing is in the incline press, make sure that basically that index finger and middle finger are directly above the elbow. Right? And also, so if I'm drawing a straight line for my forearm, whether I'm talking about width, the forearm should be straight up and down, and when I'm talking from front to back, those elbows should be directly underneath. If I'm too high or too low, what mostly happens is when I'm too low, now those forearms are basically having an angle where they're shooting forward, and I'm going to lose power that way. So if I keep my shoulder blades retracted on that, just like I do with a bench press, and I bring that bar down to the correct point, I should be in the same area, in the same basic setup for the bench press. And it's just less coaching cues you got to use, all right? So again, when I'm pressing the weight up, obviously, everything's the same for the bench press. Now, if I'm going to go ahead and use a close grip, my suggestion for beginners, probably use the same grip for the incline press because you're not going to implement the incline press unless you're doing it every week. I would say just avoid various grips. But if you think you feel the need to do a close grip incline press, a lot of power lifters use it because it's a way to activate, again, triceps, delts without getting the lats involved. Now you just have to make sure that you tell the athlete you got to bring that bar down a little bit lower. Anytime you have that grip farther inside, the bar's got to come a little bit lower, because if not, you're going to be doing just a modified jam press. So go ahead, press it up. Now, what happens is, if I'm going to go ahead and increase the incline, and again, usually anywhere at 45 is usually pretty set. Hopefully, you can implement some different inclines, but again, when the athlete comes out, everything's going to be the same. Just understand that you're still doing the same basic coaching cue. Hopefully I don't get hit in the face here. And again, same basic thing. I'm going to be now coming down, again, just below that clavicle, and making sure you're watching the athletes, watch their forearm angle. It should be straight up and down. Again, not too so much that their elbow should be directly underneath basically those two fingers when they press it up. So that would be just a very basic structure for implementing those incline presses. And again, if we were going to go ahead and do the higher incline, then the J hook's got to come up, or the bench has to come back as well if you have a higher incline. So make sure you're making those adjustments. I know that's I hope that wasn't condescending. Just some basic cues to think about as far as if you can have the athletes touch in the proper place every time, then again, they're going to be better and better at that movements, and that's where the strength gains are going to come, especially with the beginners. So hope that helps.